Sometimes love shows up at the most unexpected moment. For Ryan and Stacy, it showed up in the middle of the night after a long shift in the emergency room. Watch next as we learn more about this sweet couple's journey to the altar.
The first meeting was my friend Sameep and I had graduated college and decided to drive across California. And so we flew to San Francisco, drove down to LA, and we stayed with a friend of mine that I had met several years earlier in LA, and he lived with Stacy at the time. We had gone out drinking and everybody came home, and there was a bed for everybody except for me, and there was a couch for everybody except for me. So my friend Charlie suggested that I fall asleep in Stacy's bed.
I had come home from work at 8 in the morning after a 12-hour shift. My hair was everywhere. I had bad breath. I was exhausted after being on my feet all night. And I came home and Ryan was in my bed. She kind of peeked her head in and sort of said, "What are you doing here?" And I told her I'd passed out in her bed. And I didn't know who he was or where he came from. But I went downstairs onto the couch, thought I should pass out there instead of getting in bed with some strange guy. So he came down 10 minutes later and woke me up and felt awful and told me to get back in my bed. We started talking and we ended up talking for 3-4 hours. 2 weeks later I was driving cross country with him, so. We were sitting at the toll booth just outside of Boston, and she turned and asked me a question. I think she said something like, "What are you thinking about right now?" And I turned to her and I told her, "I'm thinking about if I could tell you anything in the world right now, I'd tell you how in love with you I am." And it was that moment that I fell in love with her. Ryan and I said we would always get married in 2006, so I knew the engagement was coming at some point. It took a long time actually to put together, but I worked with my parents and her mom and her brother on putting together the proposal, but I basically sent her on a scavenger hunt all throughout Los Angeles. People who know me really well know I don't like surprises. And my parents flew in and we all played a trick on Stacy and basically told her that they were flying in to surprise me for my birthday. And I know Ryan must be proposing. His parents are coming, my parents will be there, it's gotta be happening. And my brother being in on it, which I didn't know obviously, talked me out of it and said, there's no way he's proposing, he doesn't know his parents are coming, and you're setting yourself up for disappointment. So I sort of let the idea go, and Saturday morning his parents showed up and Ryan acted shocked to see them, and the moment he acted surprised, I really thought, I guess he's not proposing. She kind of thought she was in on the trick, so she went and made me breakfast while I was out for my run that morning, and she thought she was part of everything. And then she woke up on November 20th thinking it was a normal day. Sunday morning we were going to go watch football out at my brother's. We do it every Sunday, and when I was getting ready before we left, my mom said, "Oh, I forgot to give you this note," and she handed me a letter and told me I was going to have the best day of my life. And Mom and Dad dropped me off at the spa. That's where it first told me to go. From there they gave me another note and sent me over to the mall. She got a note basically at each place she went to, and she left the spa and with a note in her hand that told her to go over to Victoria's Secret. Picked up my lingerie, and all the girls at Victoria's Secret sort of crowded around me knowing that something fun was happening, so that was cool. She got another note inside the box that told her to go downstairs and there would be somebody waiting for her. And it turns out it was my best friend and my best friend's husband who's in our wedding, and at that point when I finally saw someone I knew, I just lost it. Took her from the mall over to a wine shop actually, where I'd picked out a really nice bottle of champagne for us to celebrate, and she had certainly, I'm sure, figured it out at this point. And then he drove me over to the beach house, and on the way I got this lovely letter about all the things Ryan loves about me, and so I'm a complete mess by the time I get to the hotel. I can't find the room, and I walk in covered in bags and boxes, and there's Ryan in the back of the room. The beach is in the background and the sun's setting and the ocean, and he's on his knees and there's candles and roses everywhere. So I walked in and I think my legs were shaking so much I got on my knees with him. And I proposed to her right then and there. I just remember my heart wanting to jump out of my chest. And he proposed. We're assuming I said yes. She was thrilled, she was crying, she was happy. We will both tell you that neither of us remember exactly what I said to her when we got engaged, because I don't know what I said. She, at one point about 4 months later, asked me if she even said yes, which I couldn't tell you if she did. I'm assuming she did, but... Oh, look at me now.
Leigh Ann Belter Bridal, found exclusively at Ania Collection in the heart of downtown Portland.